is a nudist resort. None of them wearing any clothing of any kind. In fact, this is a senior citizens nudist resort. There is nobody under the age of 80 at this resort. But remember that word, because whenever you hear it, it is time to sleep. Drift deeper, deeper, deeper. So I know we've got somebody under over here. Do we have anybody else in the crowd under? Terrific. There are people who are about, and he's been doing all this stuff too? Okay, great. There are two people in the crowd who are about to feel a tap on the shoulder. They will continue to sleep. It will not bother them in the slightest. Tap this gentleman, he will continue to sleep. Just tap him gently, he will continue to sleep. Tap this person over here, he will continue to sleep. You two, listen carefully and listen closely. Because when I count from 1 to 5, you're going to be sitting up straight and your eyes will open. And in that moment, you're going to realize an amazing transformation has taken place. You're going to realize at that moment that you two are contestants on the MTV Dance Competition. And yeah, you have moves, that's right. So when your eyes open, you're going to stand up and you're going to start to dance your way out to the aisle. Then you're going to dance your way safely up the stairs and onto the stage. Then you're going to dance your way over to one of those empty chairs. You will sit in the chair. And the instant your butt hits that chair, the moment your tush hits that chair, it's lights out and you will melt away deeper than you are. But when I count from 1 to 5, welcome to the MTV Dance-Off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Onto the stage, up the stairs. On the stage, up the stairs. Into the chair, sit right there. Sleep. So one of the coolest parts about hypnosis is that you get to relive experiences that you had as a young person, but they get to be a lot more fun the second time around. So all of my volunteers, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And as I do, the years will just start melting away. And when I reach 5, you will realize at that moment that you are no longer your own self. You are 5 years old once again. But not just you at the age of 5, the perfect, the ideal 5-year-old. A proper good boy or good girl, but you will be emotional exactly like a 5-year-old. And at that moment, you're going to realize that you're in a movie theater watching the funniest cartoon you have ever seen in your entire life. I don't care what your cartoon favorites are, it's up there on that screen, and you're going to be laughing. And you're 5 years old, and you know how contagious laughter is. Boys and girls, the more you laugh at that cartoon, the more you hear the audience laugh, the funnier that cartoon is going to get. Because when I count from 1 to 5, it's starting up, and you'll be eyes closed watching that cartoon. 1, that's right, you're 5 years old, and it's already starting at 2. You can begin to see it at 3, you're pulling up into your chair at 4 and 5, and look, it is SpongeBob! You love SpongeBob, and you are 5 years old, and that is the funniest episode of SpongeBob you have ever seen. And he's a little SpongeMobile, and oh, now they're changing it to South Park. There's Kyle, and there's Cartman, and they just killed Kenny. I don't know how that happens, and it's getting funnier, and now you are 5 years old, and they are changing the movie, and you are all alone in a dark movie theater. And I don't know why they let 5-year-olds into movies like this, because you're watching one of those horror movies. In fact, you're watching the scariest movie that I've ever seen. You're watching The Ring, where that little girl crawls out of that stone well, and there's her little bony fingers crawling out of that well, and now she's out of the well and she's crawling toward the TV screen. Now she's out of the TV screen, she is in the living room, and now she is crawling toward the movie screen, and now she is out of the movie screen, she is in the movie theater with you, and they are changing that movie. And you are 5 years old, and oh, gross, it's one of those gooey romance movies. Why do they let 5-year-olds watch movies like this? There's that romantic music, and there's the boyfriend and the girlfriend, and their lips are getting so close together, you just know they're gonna kiss. Oh, they are doing it, they are kissing right on the lips, cooties, germs. Oh, now he is slipping her the tongue. Oh, you hear what this movie is, whether you're a boy, whether you're a girl, you are 5 years old, you will believe that this is your best, most favorite movie in the whole world. You are 5 years old, and look, it's Bambi. Oh, you love Bambi. There's all your favorite forest animals. There's Flower. Flower is so pretty. And look, there's Thumper. Thump, 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 thump. And up on that hill, that is Bambi's mother. The camera is zooming in on Bambi's mother. What a beautiful creature. So noble, so proud. But wait a minute. What's that sound? No. No, you are 5 years old, and the hunter has just shot Bambi's mom, and she's on the ground, and she's bleeding, blood trickling down the hill into the little creek which turns red, and Bambi's trying to wake her up, and she's not waking up. She is all alone in the world, all alone, poor Bambi. But wait a minute, could it be? Look, it is, it's the remake of Bambi. She's just grazed. She's just wounded, and now she's up. She's on her feet. She is bounding off into the forest. You are so happy. And now she bounds out into the highway and bam, gets hit by a truck. And everybody sleep drift deeper and deeper and deeper. All right, what we've been doing is progressively taking them down deeper and deeper until we're ready for what we're about to try. We call this part waking hypnosis, where their eyes will be open. They'll be aware of everything going on around them, but they will still be very deeply under. As a matter of fact, when their eyes are open, they become even more powerfully under, even more demonstrative. When I count from 1 to 5, all of you will be sitting up straight. Eyes open. You're going to feel wide awake. You're going to feel great. And you are going to believe every single time you look at me from the front that I am extremely nicely dressed. In fact, I might ask you about it. And if I do, you will compliment me so as that, you want me to feel good. But otherwise, you'll keep your comments to yourself. On the other hand, every time I turn around and you look at me from behind, at that moment you will believe to your shock, horror, and utter disgust that from behind, I am wearing nothing. No clothing of any kind. You will believe that I am mooning you directly in the face. Now, the moment I face toward you, immediately I am nicely dressed. It's only when my back turns toward you that it's Moon River. And when I count from 1 to 5, wide awake, this suggestion will take effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wide awake. Well, folks, thank you so much for coming up and volunteering. I'm going to have you pull your chair forward a little bit. I'm going to have you pull into this chair. Yeah, if you would hop there, and you just kind of move in another chair too, so we're all together. Sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, hands comfortably on your lap. Pull your chair forward if you would so that you're in line with everybody. So I'm about to start the show, and I'm going to turn to talk to the audience about your experience through this process. Very, very important. Even though I'm talking to them, I am talking to all of you, so do listen carefully. Anyway, what I want you to understand is how unbelievably relaxed my volunteers are going to get during the course of this process. We're going to begin with what we call progressive relaxation. Their bodies are going to get so loose and floppy, they're just going to feel really, really good. Now, there's some background music. Do not worry, there's no backward hidden messages. The music is simply there to help them focus and relax. I am so sorry, there is debris. If you don't mind, I don't want you to step on this, so I'm just going to make sure that it's not a spot on the stage so that we don't hurt anything. By the way, do you like my jacket? Thank you so much, because I got it actually like a week ago. I didn't even have it altered. Would you check the hem out back there just to make sure that it's good? Now, raise your hands if you're an athlete, if you're in any sports. Great, great, great. I got to warn you about something. I went jogging as soon as I got in town. If you're an athlete, keep this in mind. You have really got to stretch out. It's really crucial that you stretch all the way through the hamstrings, making sure that everything is stretched all the way through. Because if you don't stretch all the way through it, there is a serious risk of injury right there in the glutes, and it can be very, very bad for you. Anyway, everybody sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, hands comfortably on your lap. Focus your eyes right here, take a deep and gentle breath, hold, And as it drops, everybody sleep, drift deeper and deeper and deeper. I need some help from you. I need to know what the school team name is, sir. Norskies? Okay, great. And DeForest, obviously. All my volunteers, when I count from 1 to 5. And it's DeForest Area High School? Terrific. When I count from 1 to 5, all of you will be sitting up straight, wide awake. Feeling good, feeling great. And I want you to know that I will be nicely dressed no matter what angle you look at me from. But women on stage, listen carefully, because every time you hear me say the word DeForest, or refer to DeForest High School or DeForest Area High School, every time my mouth utters that word DeForest, you will believe that somebody, and you don't know who, has very rudely come up behind you and pinched you on the butt. And you're going to jump out of your chair with a resounding shriek, and you will not know who did it, but you will believe it was one of these rude and nasty men sitting near you on stage. Now, you will not touch them. You will be upset perhaps, but you will not touch them. But every time I say DeForest, they're going to do it again. It's going to get worse. But men, every time I, and only I, say the word Norskies, every time I, and only I, say the word Norskies, you men on stage will suddenly realize that somebody, and you don't know who, has just come up behind you and begun to give you the world's largest wedgie. And I'm really sorry to tell you this, gentlemen, but every time I say Norskies, that wedgie's gonna pull higher and higher. When I count from 1 to 5, wide awake, the suggestions will take effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. So, this is the first time I've had a chance to perform for you, the graduating class of DeForest High School, and I am excited to be here because we've got a great show in mind. I'm sorry, are you uncomfortable? Is the chair bad? If there's a problem, you just let me know, because I want all of you to be comfortable. And I never really didn't know what to call it, because on my contract it said DeForest High School, but I got here, and they said DeForest Area High School, and so, I had a hard... Is he bothering you? Do you mind, you want me to move you? Follow me. I'm going to go right over here. You're a gentleman, you wouldn't do anything, would you? Great. Anyway, it is great to be here at DeForest Area High School. Him too? Oh God, ladies, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. I apologize. They told me that the men here were going to be perfect gentlemen. Well, actually, that's not the way they said it. What they said was, Chris, you have to understand, these men have Norski's spirit. That's what they have. They've got Norski's spirit, and I just assumed that that meant that they would be perfect gentlemen. But apparently, they get to DeForest High School, and this just causes problems. Okay, women, let me know if these guys are giving you a hard time. Hands up if they are. How many of you would like some serious, heavy-duty revenge? Good. Revenge is at hand. Have a seat. I promise you it will not happen again. So, I love performing for high school groups because I am the ultimate high school sports enthusiast. I have to explain, I grew up in a town called Springfield, Illinois, which is the capital of Illinois, and our team was lame. Not the team, but the team name, because we were called the Springfield Senators. That is not intimidating at all. But the Norskies, that is an amazing name. When the Senators come on stage, nothing but, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Norskies to the field, and then all the Norskies start running onto the field, and the crowd is shouting, Norskies, 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 Norskies. I just love the name Norskies. Men, take a closer look, because men, the next time you check it out, you'll realize that none of you is wearing any underwear at all. Check it out. Have a seat, make yourself comfortable. Push your forward. Great. Feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs. Focus your eyes and attention here. Take a gentle breath of air, hold. And everybody sleep, drift. Now, we've got a lot of good ones. And I don't mean to pick favorites, but I've got one. This person I'm touching, listen carefully and listen closely. Because when I count from 1 to 5, everyone will be wide awake. But I'm going to come up to them one at a time, and I'm going to give their hand a little tug, and I'm going to say the word sleep, and they will drift down like you are right now. Now, every time I do that to one of the people on stage, I give that little tug, I say sleep, and that individual drifts down, you will realize that that person I just hypnotized has really cool shoes. And you will realize that you like shoes a lot more than most guys like shoes. In fact, you will be obsessed by their shoes. You will feel compelled to go up to that person I just hypnotized and steal his or her shoes right off of his or her feet. Now, you know that if I catch you doing this, I'm going to make you give them back. You don't want that to happen, so you're going to be very sneaky about it. You're going to do it behind my back so that I can't see it. And once you've stolen their shoes, you're going to come back and you're going to hide those shoes by stuffing them up under your shirt. But I'll do it to a new person. I'll go up to a new person and say, sleep. The moment they're under, you will realize you need to steal their shoes. You'll grab those, come back, stuff those under your shirt. This will go on and on to everybody that I hypnotize. When I count from 1 to 5, all of you will be wide awake. This man that I'm touching in the black shirt will be the world's greatest shoe thief. For everybody else, if you see him stealing shoes, you will realize it is his job, and you will let him do it because it is his job. If he steals your shoes, not only will you not notice when they are being stolen, when they are gone, you will not know that they are gone. And when I count from 1 to 5, you'll be wide awake, and these suggestions will take effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. So I would like to get to know some of our volunteers better. For example, what was your name again? Amber? Sleep. Amber, listen carefully and listen closely, because I have a very important job for you, Amber. Amber, from this moment forward, no matter where you are and no matter where I am, whenever you hear me and only me, utter the words "at the movies." Amber, whenever I and only I utter the words "at the movies," you are going to stand up, and at the top of your voice, you are going to belt out these words: "Run, Forrest, run!" And then you will sit right back down. Every time that I and only I say the words "at the movies," you're going to stand up and shout, "Run, Forrest, run!" And this will go on and on until I tell you to sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. And what was your name? Quentin? Sleep. Quentin, listen carefully and listen closely, because I have a job for you. Quentin, from this moment forward, no matter where you are, no matter where I am, whenever you hear me and only me say a certain word, a blonde-haired woman will stand up and shout, "Run, Forrest, run." The instant she completes that, the moment she finishes that phrase, you will stand up, and at the top of your voice, Quentin, you will shout out these words: "But I gotta save Bubba," and then you will sit right back down. When she stands up and shouts, "Run, Forrest, run," you will stand up and shout, "But I gotta save Bubba," and this will go on and on until I tell you to sleep. When I count from 1 to 5, you will be sitting up straight and wide awake. These suggestions will take effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. What is your name? Sleep. Listen carefully and listen closely, because I have a very important job for you. That person I just put under, whenever you hear me and only me say the word pop, whenever I say the word pop, or use it like with popcorn or soda pop, whenever I say pop, you will believe that suddenly your belly button has popped off of your belly and is rolling around on the stage. And you must find it, because if you don't, your intestines will fall out. Now don't worry, I have a spare. I will give you my spare, but every time I say the word pop in any fashion, instantly your belly button pops off your belly and starts to roll around the stage. When I count from 1 to 5, wide awake, these suggestions will take effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those must have been tight. Wide awake. Great. What was your name? Those look looser. Max, sleep. Max, listen carefully and listen closely. No matter where you are, no matter where I am, Max, whenever you hear me and only me utter the word cougar, whenever I and only I utter the word cougar, Max, you will become ferociously offended with me, and at the top of your voice, you're going to shout out these words: "Hey, my mom is not a cougar." You will not know why you said it, but every time I say cougar, you're going to become offended with me and shout, hey, my mom is not a cougar. When I count from 1 to 5, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. And your name? Sleep. Listen carefully, sir. Listen closely. No matter where you are, no matter where I am, whenever you hear me and only me, utter the words, I need help. Whenever I and only I say the words, I need help, you will stand up and you will belt out this song, which I'm about to sing for you off key. It goes like this. Here I come to save the day, and then you will sit right back down. But every time I and only I say the words, I need help, you will immediately stand up and say, here I come to save the day, and then sit. When I count from 1 to 5, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. And your name, sir? I'm sorry? Connor, and? It's Connor. Sleep. Connor, listen carefully and listen closely. From this moment forward, the word Connor, the name Connor, is vanishing from your brain. It's gone. Don't worry, I'll give it back to you later. But from now on, every single time I ask you your name, your old name, Connor, will be gone, and you will realize you have a new name. And your new name is Little Mary Sunshine. And it was your father's name and his name before that. In fact, you're the last of a long line of Little Mary Sunshines in your family. You are ferociously proud of this name, and if for any reason somebody were to laugh at that name, I think you can understand how upset you would likely get. When I count from 1 to 5, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. I apologize, you said it, but I forgot. You are? Devin? Devin, sleep. Devin. You are number 1 for what we are about to try. You are number 1. And what was your name, sir? Sleep. You are number 2 for what we're about to try. Number 2 for what we're about to try. Number 1, listen carefully and listen closely. Number 2, listen carefully and listen closely. 25 years ago, my wife took me to see a movie. The movie was called Titanic. And whenever you hear me, and only me, say the word Titanic, you two, number 1 and number 2, have important jobs. Number 1, whenever you hear me say the word Titanic, you will believe that you are Jack from the movie Titanic. Number 2, whenever you hear me say the word Titanic, you will believe that you are Rose from the movie Titanic. Jack, you will stand up and face toward Rose. Rose, you will face toward Jack. You will realize you become separated from across the decades, and you will start to run toward each other in romantic, slow motion. Jack, you will say, come to me, Rose. Rose, you will say, come to me, Jack. You will meet in the middle. You will embrace. The instant you touch, the very nanosecond you make even the slightest bit of physical contact, you will suddenly realize who you are and what you are doing. You will not be angry, you will not be upset, you'll just be confused, you'll go back to your chair, but every time I say Titanic, that scene will play again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. Well, I want to share a little bit of personal stuff about me. My name is Christopher Carter. I have a website that is very easy to find. It's ChristopherCarter.com. I do about 120 shows in an average year, but I have hobbies. And my number 1 hobby, film, cinema. If I were not here tonight, I would be at the movies and I would be having an amazing, wonderful time. I would be at the movies having a wonderful, amazing time. And I would be eating all the snacks, all of them, especially the popcorn. I would be having the most delicious popcorn. It would just feel so... I'm sorry, is there a problem I can help you with? Did you lose something? Belly button, I saw it. I picked it up. You want it? Here, catch it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overthrow. Go ahead. God, wow, I don't even know my own strength. Take it over, make sure it's good and tight. Come back, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. Now, I'm kind of curious. Where I come from, when I grew up, they called it soda. But then they moved to Chicago and they called it pop, which is a completely different thing. And, oh, it's right under my case. I saw it roll under. That metal case right there in front of you? That's right. No, that's the speaker. That's the case next to it, yes. Yeah, right, that's it. Just go ahead and pick it up. It's underneath there. Perfect, yeah, it's right there on the phone. Good. Make sure it's on there good and tight. So raise your hands if you call it soda, and raise your hands if you call it pop, which is, I believe, the proper name for it. So, oh, here, take my spare. I won't throw it. I'll just sit it right there. It's okay. You can get it. I'll back away slowly. So I want to share with you what movies were like when I was a little kid. First of all, we did not have the multiplex cinemas, with like the 13 screens. When I was a kid, every theater only had one screen and there was only one movie, except for Saturdays. Except for Saturdays. Now, Saturdays were special because they would show film after film throughout the day. So our parents would drop us off in the morning and pick us up in the afternoon. Now, mornings were my favorite because that was when they showed the cartoon. And there was this little cartoon mouse called Mighty Mouse. And I remember he had this theme song, but I don't remember it well. When it comes to memory, I need help like nobody's business. Oh, that was it. Yes, that was it. And then after that came the nature documentary. And I remember one in particular where there was this guy on his horse, and he was, maybe in Arizona, he was in the desert, and there's this huge boulder, and this huge yellow cat jumps down, and it wasn't a puma, it was a cougar. This huge yellow cougar comes up and talking about the nature documentary. Miscommunication, totally apologize. Because I don't know what to call it. They have jaguars, they have pumas, they have mountain lions, but this was a cougar because it had this beautiful yellow claws and fangs and stuff like that. I'm sorry, is there an issue? It was the cougar I was talking about in the nature documentary. Anyway. Sorry, apologize. The real reason I'm sharing all of this with you is so that I can tell you about my favorite film of all time. It's a beautiful romantic epic called Titanic. And if you ever see this film, it just lifts you up. It fills you with the most beautiful romantic. Was it Devin? And you are? And you are? Connor. And you are? And there's one guy I want to talk to. What was your name again? I apologize. Cameron. Look up and down the road. Do you notice something odd about a lot of these people? Yeah. They're wearing shoes, a lot of them, right? They're weird. I mean, you are, but they're not. Do you have any idea why? No. Here's what I've heard. I don't know if you've heard this rumor, someone will run it by you. I have heard that there's been somebody going up and down the road stealing people's shoes. Have you heard about that? You would never do anything like that. Notice you've gained quite a little bit of weight while you've been up here. What's the deal? Bobbing. So you've been lifting, right? Obviously, that makes good sense. That's a great answer. Now, do you speak any foreign languages? Would you like to? Sleep. Sleep. When I count from 1 to 5, you, sir, will be sitting up straight, eyes open, feeling great. But you're going to realize that transformation has taken place. Your old identity is gone. You will have a new identity. When you wake up, you will realize at that moment that you have gained quite a little bit of weight. I would say roughly 5, maybe 600 pounds. And you're going to realize at that moment that you are the world champion sumo wrestler. And you are straight off the plane from some beautiful South Pacific island where you make your home. Now, because you come from this anonymous South Pacific island, you will speak no English. You will speak only the language that you believe is spoken on your South Pacific island, which will sound like total gibberish to everybody else, but will make 100% perfect sense to you. You will understand me, and you will understand one other individual, this woman I'm touching on the back right here. Listen carefully and listen closely, because when I count from 1 to 5, you will be wide awake and you're going to feel great. And at that moment, you will realize that you are bilingual. You speak both English and his South Pacific language, or whatever you think his South Pacific language ought to sound like. It'll make perfect sense to you. You will understand every word he says, and if I ask you to translate his words into English, you will be able to. If I give you words in English, you will translate them back into his language. When I count from 1 to 5, both of you will be wide awake. You will be our interpreter, speaking fluent South Pacific Island languages. You will be the world's greatest sumo wrestler. When I count from 1 to 5, welcome back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. Friends, we have an exciting experience. I picked him up at the airport in Madison. I loaded him into the back of my pickup and I brought him here today. He is the world champion sumo wrestler. And I'm certain that if you give him a huge round of applause, he will lumber forward and take his well-deserved bow. Let us hear it for Toshiro. I am not very fluent in his language. Do we have any native speakers of his language anywhere in the crowd? You do? Okay, would you step right over here? And I'm going to ask you to be our interpreter. So in his language, I would like you to welcome him here to DeForest Area High School and ask him how he's enjoying his time. In his language, please.
Hello?
Have a seat, make yourself comfortable. What's your name? Jessica Sleep. Jessica, when I count from 1 to 5, you will be wide awake. You will speak both his language and English. And if I ask you to translate, you will translate them into his language. Now, you will know whatever you say. It will make perfect sense to you, even if it sounds like nonsense to everybody. When I count from 1 to 5, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake. Jessica, could you step forward for me, please? He doesn't understand English, so in his language, could you just tell him, or ask him how he's enjoying his time?
Oh.
I don't think you're under enough. I'm going to have you put down there. Oh, well. In that case, you'll understand me. And I know that before you go through the ring, you go through some elaborate ritual filled with movements and sound. I've never had a chance to see it. I don't think anybody has. I'd like you to give us a demonstration, please. Oh, and folks, this is exciting. I am hearing from my announcer in the booth through my earpiece that our participant here is the world champion sumo wrestler, but he is also the winner of his island's version of American Idol. And he has offered to sing a few bars of his prize-winning song. Please, just a few bars. Absolutely beautiful. Have a seat. And sleep. Everybody else sit up straight, feet flat on the floor. Hold your hand out in front of you, finger outstretched. Stare at the tip of your index finger. Turn it around, admire it if you must. Keep your eyes on the very tip of your finger. The moment I say go, that finger is going to start to move backward toward your nose, and I do not care how hard you try to fight it, you are not going to be able to stop it. As a matter of fact, the more you fight it, the more you struggle, the stronger it will get, and the faster it will go. It will move backward toward your nose until it touches your nose. You'll be able to put your knee into it, your elbow, it's not going to make any difference. The more you fight it, the stronger it gets until it touches your nose, and the instant it touches your nose, immediately lights out, and you go down twice as deep. So stare at it. Concentrate on it. Go, because the more you fight, the more you struggle, the faster it gets, moving backward toward your nose until it touches that nose. And the instant it touches that nose, you will melt away. It's getting stronger and moving faster, getting faster and moving stronger until it touches that nose. And the instant it touches that nose, it's lights out, and you go down deeper than you were to start with, getting stronger and faster, faster and stronger. You can begin to feel the muscles tighten as it moves faster. Muscles are clenching, but it makes it go faster still, faster still, faster still, moving faster and faster toward the nose, faster and faster toward the nose, until it touches the nose, and then it is time to sleep. This person I'm touching is number 1. This person I'm touching is number 2. This person is number 3. This person is number 4. And this person is number 5. You 5, whenever you hear classical music play, on stage or in the audience, you will believe at that moment that you are a prima ballerina and your lifelong dream has been to dance. And so you're going to stand up as that classical music play and you're going to begin to dance. You will pirouette and plie and trick the light fantastic. In fact, this person I'm touching and this person I'm touching and this person I'm touching will also do this. Whenever that classical music play, you're going to stand up and dance. Now, at first it will be loose and melodic, but then it will change. It will change to the William Tell Overture, which, if you do not know it, is the Lone Ranger theme song. And the moment it changes, you will change. You will no longer be ballerinas. The instant it changes, you will become cowboys. And you will mount your horse, and you will gallop one revolution around this audience, shouting, "Hi-Yo Silver," the entire way, until that music comes to a stop, at which point you'll come to with no idea what you've been doing or how you got there. Any man that I did not touch and give a suggestion to, this is your mission right now. Every single time that you hear me, and only me, say the word red. Anytime I, and only I, say the word red, you will suddenly believe that the person sitting closest to you out there in the audience is just past wind in the foulest, most disgusting way you can possibly imagine. I mean, they will smell worse than 1,000 hobos. And you're going to want to get to someplace much more pleasant smelling. But you're going to be very polite. You don't want to let us know exactly why you're moving. So if I ask you why you're moving, you will have some weird excuse that makes no sense to anybody else, but will make perfect sense to you. Nevertheless, every time I say that word red, they're going to do it again. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. This person I'm touching right here, this person I'm touching right here, this person I'm touching, this person I'm touching, and this person I'm touching. You are now the official Nursky cheerleaders. And from this moment forward, every time I, and only I, say the word Nursky, you're going to stand up, pound one pom-pom in the air, shout, "Go Nurskies!" and then go, "Yehuda, and sit right back down. That's it, that's the cheer. Yo Nurskies, Yehuda, and sit right back down. But this person I'm touching, did I do it? Okay. This person I'm touching right here, whenever you hear or see anybody stand up and give their Nurskies cheer, you will realize